Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. What you are about to hear today is not speculation, not exaggeration, and not propaganda. This is a warning sign flashing across the global stage, and it is one that Vladimir Putin has feared more than missiles, sanctions, or even military defeat. Massive protests are erupting across Iran, streets are overflowing with anger, the regime in Tehran is trembling. And if this system collapses, the shockwaves could destroy the very foundations of Putin's power, because revolutions do not stay contained. They spread, they inspire, and they expose a truth every authoritarian leader dreads. When people stop being afraid, no army is strong enough to stop them. Right now, Iran is burning with rage, not the kind of controlled unrest the regime has learned to manage, but a deep, uncontrollable fury that has been building for decades. Millions of Iranians are no longer asking for reforms. They are demanding an end to corruption, an end to repression, an end to a system that has stolen their future. Across Tehran, Mashhad, Isfahan, Shiraz, Tabriz, and countless smaller cities, crowds are chanting slogans that were once unthinkable to say out loud. These are not isolated demonstrations. These are coordinated waves of defiance erupting simultaneously, overwhelming security forces and paralyzing the state. Shops are closing, universities are shutting down, workers are walking out, students are leading marches. Women are tearing down symbols of authority, and perhaps most dangerous of all for the regime, even traditionally loyal regions are joining the unrest. Iran's economy has collapsed under the weight of corruption, sanctions, and catastrophic mismanagement. Inflation has destroyed purchasing power. Food prices have exploded. Fuel shortages are routine. Young people, even those with degrees, cannot find work. Families are choosing between rent and medicine. Hope has evaporated, and when hope dies, fear dies with it. The Iranian government has always relied on fear as its primary weapon. Fear of prison, fear of torture, fear of execution. But today, millions of Iranians are asking themselves a simple question: what is left to lose? This is why this moment is different from previous protest waves. This is not about one policy, one election, or one incident. This is about survival. This is about dignity. This is about reclaiming life itself. The regime is responding the only way it knows how: violence, censorship, mass arrests, and information blackouts. Internet access is restricted. Journalists are silenced, protest leaders are hunted, security forces flood the streets. But repression is no longer working the way it used to. Every crackdown creates more anger. Every arrest creates 10 new protesters. Every act of brutality is filmed, shared, and broadcast to the world within minutes. The regime cannot control the narrative anymore. Social media has shattered the monopoly of state propaganda. And perhaps most terrifying for the leadership in Tehran, cracks are beginning to appear inside the system itself. Security forces are exhausted, many are underpaid, some are refusing orders, others are quietly stepping aside. There are reports of internal disagreements within the Revolutionary Guards. Clerics are divided. Political elites are blaming each other behind closed doors. History shows us one undeniable pattern. Regimes do not fall when protesters rise alone. They fall when the people rise and the system hesitates. Now here is where Vladimir Putin enters this story. Putin is watching Iran with absolute dread, because Iran is not just another country facing unrest. Iran is a critical pillar of Putin's global strategy. It is a military partner, an economic lifeline, and a geopolitical shield against the West. Russia and Iran are bound together by sanctions, isolation, and shared hostility toward Western influence. Iran supplies Russia with drones, weapons technology, and strategic cooperation. In return, Russia provides political cover, military expertise, and diplomatic protection. If the Iranian regime collapses, Putin does not just lose an ally. He loses a cornerstone of his entire power structure. Worse still, he loses proof that authoritarian systems can survive modern resistance. Putin's greatest fear has never been NATO tanks or Western sanctions. His greatest fear is his own people watching another authoritarian regime fall and realizing that the same thing is possible in Russia. The Kremlin understands something very clearly. Revolutions are contagious. If Iranians succeed in overthrowing a heavily militarized, deeply entrenched regime, it sends a message straight into the heart of Moscow, a message that no amount of censorship can fully suppress. Russia itself is under immense strain. The war has drained resources. Sanctions have weakened the economy. Casualties are mounting. Families are grieving. Discontent is simmering beneath the surface. Putin has maintained control through fear, propaganda, and repression. But these tools lose power when people see that others, just like them, have broken free. That is why the collapse of Iran would be a nightmare scenario for the Kremlin. It would shatter the illusion of permanence. It would expose the vulnerability of authoritarian systems everywhere. It would show that even regimes built on ideology, surveillance, and violence can fall when the population unites. And Putin knows that his own system is far more fragile than it appears. Iran's fall would also devastate Russia's strategic position in the Middle East. Moscow relies on Tehran to counterbalance Western influence, support proxy networks, and maintain leverage in regional conflicts. Without Iran, Russia's reach shrinks dramatically, its bargaining power weakens, its influence fades, and the ripple effects would not stop there. A new government in Tehran could realign Iran's foreign policy entirely. Sanctions could be lifted, relations with the West could improve, energy markets could shift, Russia could lose critical leverage over oil and gas dynamics. For Putin, this is not just a political crisis, it is an existential threat. This is why Russian state media is unusually quiet about Iran's protests. This is why Kremlin narratives avoid acknowledging the scale of the unrest. This is why Putin is desperate for the Iranian regime to survive. But hope does not stop revolutions, force does not stop revolutions, and history does not wait for dictators to feel comfortable. The people of Iran are standing at a crossroads. One path leads back into silence, repression, and fear. The other leads into uncertainty, struggle, and possibility. And the world is watching. Authoritarian leaders across the globe are watching. Vladimir Putin is watching, because deep down every strongman knows the same truth. Power does not belong to those who seize it with force. It belongs to those who can keep the consent of the people. And once that consent is gone, no palace is safe. No bunker is deep enough. No army is loyal forever. What is happening in Iran right now is not just a national crisis. It is a global warning, a reminder that systems built on fear eventually collapse under the weight of their own cruelty. If the Iranian regime falls, history will mark this moment as a turning point, a moment when the balance shifted, when people proved once again that even the most brutal systems are not invincible, and for Vladimir Putin, that may be the most terrifying reality of all. If you found this breakdown important, make sure to subscribe to the channel, share this video, and stay informed. History is unfolding right now, and the consequences will shape the world for years to come. Stay alert, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.